Hello, hello! My name is Callista, and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. In the last episode, we met the final group we can ally ourselves with in the city Hadret House. Now, it turns out this is a group of detectives, which I consider a major plus, but Ximena would consider a major negative. Ximena isn't particularly fond of detectives, considering that she is a con artist. So we're going to have quite a think. We're going to have quite a think on who we want to side with, because at the same time, Hadret House, they're clearly the most progressive. But they're detectives. So it's a balancing act. It's a balancing act. I'm going to have to see which one Ximena feels herself drawn to the most. Now, we have yet to see, we haven't gone over here. We do also have the Sanitarium.
Sure.
This is where all of the animancers are chilling out. So let's go see what they're up to. Also, anything... Okay, we can look through the windows. These charming windows are reinforced with iron bars and a double thickness of glass. Oh dear. Well, that doesn't look too good. Hello? All right. Well, I mean, this looks... Oh, there's a basement. There's a basement. I was saying, this looks lovely. This looks quite charming. Verna. Oh. Yeah, no, thank you. Warden, an animancer from the Republic's Bancello, has requested a visit. Extend a formal invitation. See to it that the necessary preparations are made. Of course. Why is there spooky music? What the shit? What the shit? This is, This place is clearly cursed based on the music. The table is set with an assortment of leaflets and booklets with titles like Practical Benefits of Animancy and Soul Adjustments for the Well-Adjusted Soul. The head warden appears to be a statue. That's very nice. And it's a moon god. Like, I have to. You see a dark room with garish furnishings. I didn't start my timer. There we go. You see a dark room with garish furnishings. A large bed covered with pillows, several couches, and expensive rugs. This man is sitting in a chair, pushed against the wall of the room opposite the door. He is dressed in dark clothes, with a black cloak wrapped around his shoulders, its hood pulled close around his face. Shadow, why can you wear a hood? We can't wear a hood. You're a moon godlike, I'm a moon godlike. Why can you wear a hood and I can't? Shadows fall across him, the darkness rendering him virtually invisible. Two other men wait in the darkness with him, watching the door. All three are motionless. Noise from the crowded common room below echoes up from the floorboards. The handle rattles. A man staggers in, dragging a young woman with him. The two standing men exchange a quick glance, one of them tilting his head and shrugging only slightly before jumping to the task at hand. One steps forwards, grabbing the girl's wrist, wrenching it from her escort's hold with one hand while pushing the door closed with the other. Then that hand is over the girl's mouth before she is even aware that she is in someone else's arms. He takes a dagger from its place on his belt and draws it across her neck. He holds her still, waiting for the struggles to stop. The other standing man has already subdued their target, now tied to a chair, arms and legs bound with a rag stuffed in his mouth. The girl, no longer moving, is placed under the bed. The man who dealt with her taking his place beside the other. They stare down at the man screaming against the cloth, but the muffled sound is unheard over the raucous noise of the crowd below. One of the men begins murmuring softly, putting his hand under the chin of the man in the chair. There is a brief flash of light, and the man stops struggling, a suddenly placid look in his eyes. The two captors ask various questions that the bound man answers happily. After they finish, the two look to the man sitting against the wall. He has not moved as the events transpired before him, but only sat, silently observing everything as it happens. He stands, holding the cloak closed around himself, and nods to the two men. He then walks to the door, opens it only far enough to allow himself to exit, and leaves them to finish his task. Aye, edgelord. Okie doke. What your soul may be trying to tell you. These sound like self-help books. These sound a lot like self-help books. Ooh, the midwife's memoirs. Don't mind if I do. Lovely, lots of books to read. Let's see, is there anyone in these offices? This man's soul was torn asunder by a beerwick. As you can see, the patient is unresponsive, common after soul trauma. The animancer places a small stone upon the patient's forehead. A portion of his soul was recovered near his body. We use this stone as a vessel for transfer. Can you hear me, Oswin? The patient's eyes slowly open before a panicked, wild expression washes over him. Unfortunately, the extended disassociation has permanent side effects. The patient becomes more agitated, grunted and moaning as he tugs at his bonds. With further research, we're confident that we'll be able to rehabilitate patients like Oswin. Interesting. The table is set with an assortment of leaflets and booklets with titles like... Okay, yeah, we've read that. And again, don't mind if I do. I'm taking all of your books.
Welcome.
Ooh. A bald man with a crooked nose gestures in demonstration over the still body of the patient before a small gathering of interested onlookers. Feeling your gaze, he pauses his discussion. Have you come to sit in? I'd like to know more about the sanitarium. He gives an eager nod. It's the mission that attracted me here, the treatment of the disturbed. No one else seems to care about them. Here, they've worked wonders for them. I've seen people cured of insatiable hungers and uncontrollable urges. I've seen the crippled walk and the dysphoric smile, all within these walls. The thought that the Duke could put an end to it with a single order, it keeps me up at night. No, one second.
Hail, traveller.
What is it you do here? Close as we are to the Glanfathan wilds, we get a number of beerwick maimings every year, survivors dealing with complications from exposure. This fellow here is a severe case. His essence is a mere whisper of what it was. I'm early in my research, only beginning to understand how they work, but in time I hope to find a way to protect people from the storm's effects. Okay, lovely. Excellent. You can stay there, my stone friend. I've got looting to do. These look like field sketches of Ingwithin ruins and artifacts. Can we... Okay, we can just go straight through. This painting has a rolling forest glen that has strangely soothing effect. Oh, okay. Nice calming pictures. What you would expect in a, basically like a doctor's waiting room. Head Warden Ethelmore. A well-maintained statue of a middle-aged man presides over the room, looking down unblinking over the bustle of harried academics pestered by the hopeful desperate. A strong warmth emanates from it that you could sense from across the room. There is a human soul stored beneath the stonework. You feel its attention turned towards you. It has been some time since a watcher graced these halls. His voice echoes deeply, rumbling the floor beneath you. I am envious of your natural insights, traveller. I can only imagine how it might have helped my work in life. Now, what is it that has brought you to my sanitarium? I'm curious as to how you've come to be in your present state. In the statue, you mean? Well, he laughs. I was old, and it seemed wrong to me. A lifetime spent in pursuit of discovery, only to lose it all in death. Somewhere, someday, I would waken a new body none the wiser and pursue a different course entirely. All that experience wasted. If we are ever to unearth the principles behind our existence, it will be in spite of our condition. Of that I am quite sure. To live on as part of something I helped build seemed to me a better legacy than what nature had in store. The transfer itself was quite simple as our techniques go, and for that I am grateful. Playing with souls is far easier to accept when they are not your own. I do miss being able to take an active role in the scholarly efforts here. Now and again, one of our animancers will humour me and consult over some problem, but they are a jealous breed and are too often afraid to collaborate. If you are considering it yourself, I can tell you that it isn't for the easily bored. But tell me about the Sanitarium. A history lesson. This is a rare pleasure. Most come in here only concerned with cheating death in one way or another. We are an old institution as Deerwood goes. This is our 94th year. As with many cities, the growth of Defiance Bay brought with it a host of problems. One of the worst was that those born with, shall we say, ill-favoured souls came to populate its streets in droves. Thus, the Sanitarium. Brackenbury was a natural fit. It was growing, but there was also a lot of money here back then. This place owes its survival to the curiosities of the wealthy more than anything, I think. Our founding came at a time of great suspicion in animancy, much like today. So much progress has been lost to the mishaps of... I think that would be mishaps. Yeah, mishaps, excuse me. So much progress has been lost to the mishaps of a few careless practitioners. But in time it was forgotten, as all things are. Since then we have been at the forefront of animancy's resurgence. Again, I don't like this creepy music. Why do we have this creepy music in this place of healing? But in time it was forgotten, as all things are. Since then we have been at the forefront of animancy's resurgence. We have played host to many gifted researchers and pushed the boundaries of our knowledge in ways we never thought possible. Some of the first safe transferences were done here, and we have pioneered work in soul purification, lineage analysis, preservation. It's really quite a list, if you'll pardon my pride. Today it's... well, I can't say it's exactly the same. There's been some push to shut us down. It comes from Deerwood's more excitable denizens, whose minds are more passionate than thoughtful, I'm afraid. People see this legacy, and they see it involves something they don't understand. So it's natural for them to suspect people whose understanding exceeds theirs. It looks to them like we're hiding something. We have a representative in the palace at this very moment, defending the entire science of animancy at a hearing before the Duke, absurd as it sounds. If it does not go well, it could be the end of animancy in Deerwood. I fear Avar may be swayed by all this unrest, irrational though it may be. We shall see. Farewell. Aye, okay, I was expecting something far creepier from him because of the music. No, he seems lovely. Although I will admit, if he starts moving around... and the spookiness continues. Excellent. Oh, hell no. This is... no. No. This is very spooky and I don't like it. Unexpected results. The canine host was listless and unresponsive, but it was determined that this was simply the implanted feline soul. Yarn resulted in vigorous simulation. So they've put a cat soul into a dog's. And they gave it some yarn and it started acting like a cat. Okay. Okay. Ooh. Hello. In a corner of Mordred's lab rests a large weathered trunk. It seems likely to contain something important, if only by virtue of its size. Okay. Nothing grabs your attention except for the large padlock on the front. Whatever this animancer keeps in here, he does not want anyone else to have or see. Okay. The fact that we can interact with this and it comes up with like a special screen, I'm like... Methinks this may be related to a quest. What was I saying? Yeah, the stone statue guy, if he starts moving, I may have a bit of a panic. He's lovely right now, but if he starts moving about, yeah, no. An animancer scribbles feverishly on a parchment scroll while his free hand dances through the air, counting off unseen objects. His lips move in silent discourse. As your shadow falls over his scroll, he looks up at you with mingled perplexity and irritation.
Gods keep you.
Can I help you? He forces a polite smile. Oh, what are you working on? My area of focus is wicks. More specifically, how to cure them. Oh, I want to say that wicks are those kids. They've had animal souls placed in their body. I want to say that's what a wict is. Oh, what's a wict? Yes, okay. So that makes sense here. A hollowborn who receives a transplanted animal soul during infancy. One of the animancy's early efforts to cure the legacy, if not a successful one. He removes his spectacles and wipes his brow. They show signs of developmental abnormalities throughout their childhood, but when they reach adolescence, they become aggressive, feral, but still victims in need of care. Transplanting animal souls into children seems like an odd solution. Animancers were trying to do something about the crisis, better than letting it swallow a generation of children. He stares at a fixed point on the far wall, and despite the controversy, it only went so far because at first it seemed to work. People called it the salvation. Children that had never been responsive to any kind of stimuli suddenly seemed aware of their surroundings, of their families. He takes a slow breath. The complications don't begin until puberty. But that's when the incompatibilities between body and soul take shape. Children become violent, ravenous. But we paid dearly for our mistake, I promise you. Angry mobs hunted down animancers and burned down their homes, with them still inside, often as not. People took to calling it the cruel salvation, and many still loathe us for it. But we wanted to stop the legacy as much as anyone. The public begged for our help, and we did the best we could. I still don't know if that absolves us. Why do you study wits? He huffs. What kind of question is that? Just think of all the families that could be healed, the lives that could be restored. What could be more important? His face has reddened, and he turns away from you for a moment. He shakes his head. Animancy has an answer here, I know it. It's simply a matter of working it out. I see. Good. He looks eager to return to his work. Just looking around. Then be quick about it, and don't touch anything. The Sanitarium has a lax visitor policy, but I don't. Without another word, he resumes his work. Okay. Yeah, you don't want us touching your stuff, so I will leave that be, considering you are right there. Belisage. Oh, and you have cages in here. This strange device seems to thrum with power.
Good day, stranger.
Another Valian. Hello. A woman paces back and forth, her feet crunching on the soft red carpet. She gestures and mumbles to herself, shaking her head as she pores over pages of notes. She almost walks into you. Ikosi, here I am, looking so hard for answers in my research that I do not see the kid standing in front of me. What can I do? What do you do here? According to my research grant, I study awakenings. Sublimating pre-awakened souls has been one of Animancy's greatest successes, and I am working on a method to replicate the process on awakened souls. She gnaws at her lip. Aha. But the truth is that I find few suitable subjects here. Widewind's legacy has left plenty of awakened souls, but most are too broken for study. She sighs. I fear I will return to Rivua with nothing to show for my efforts. I'm awakened. I've been recalling flashes of a past life. She scratches her chin. Most interesting, but not the kind of awakening I can study, I'm afraid. I need someone whose awakened soul can be triggered with predictable stimuli. Souls such as these tend to manifest as alternate personas in the host. I like to imagine Ximena's head just sort of spinning round and looking at Alof like, alternate personas, because 1 minute Alof is Alof and then the next minute he seems to be Scottish. I'm just saying. She gives you a broad, if strained smile, but I thank you for the offer. Something else you need? Ximena would know this, however, I've received 2 different sets of information prior to starting the LP when I did research into what the Valian Republics were like so that I could have those, base ideas for, like, what Ximena believes in, it said, oh yeah, animancy is approved of in the Valian Republics. And then Caldera was like, oh, they've gotten stricter recently. So I feel like I need to know this. Again, maybe Ximena is asking this like, A, you've probably been there more recently than I have, so has anything changed in the time that I've gone? That's probably where Ximena's head is at, asking this. I'd like to know more about animancy in the Valian Republics. It is a dynamic and respected field. Even the Bale Reach incident did little to slow it. She shrugs. People in the Republics are more accepting of risk, less superstitious, ready to try anything that shows promise. Okay. So yeah, they're a country of risk takers, basically. Got it. It's a shame that so many here are so hostile towards animancy, but animancy also has the potential to do great harm. I'm not sure whether the benefits outweigh the dangers. People should turn to the gods for answers. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that really helps me out. It's a shame that so many here are so hostile towards animancy. It is, but such is the way of the Deerwood. The people here are fierce about their sovereignty, but they are not so independent from their Adiran brothers and their Glanfathan neighbours that they would like to think. They rely too much on the mysterious workings of the gods and fear the very advances they need. Goodbye. Okay. Now the only thing I have left to think about is how are Orlans viewed. Oh, proper key. We can only go so far. I may look up a guide to Orlans because that shouldn't have all too many spoilers, and it might say, oh yeah, Orlans are often found in these countries. They're more accepted in these countries. They're less accepted in these ones. So that would probably be handy. Proper key. We can go in here though. There is no one. The edges of the cage are dented and scored with claw marks. Well, that's lovely. That's lovely.
Nice and quiet.
Any patients hidden anything? Doesn't look like it. Okay. We need a key. Okay. Was that a scream? Okay, let's go. It is time to go. It is time to leave. Goodbye. Farewell, Asylum. It was nice knowing you. Back to the sunshine. Back to sunshine and non-spooky music. God, this music is oppressive. It's so oppressive, I don't like it. There we go, you can hear the birds.
Hey, you think we could get another dog? Keep this one company? Just a thought.
Oh my god, he wasn't trying to play with Itumark, he was talking about Sunny. Oh yeah, we already have the Black Hound. I'm sure Sunny and the Black Hound probably get along great. You know what? In fact, Sunny, you go in there. It's been a while. Let's bring out the Black Hound. There we go. There we go, my dear friend. Yes. You're so lovely, aren't you? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And the city is a much better place for you. Ooh, excuse you. There isn't so much as a spot on these oranges. Nice. Ooh, spirits. Well, hey. Oh, hello. Okay, so this house seems to be off on its own. Rococo Francis Whitebrows. Timothy Whitewater. Yeah, okay, I think these are probably both, yep. They're both backers. We will leave them be. So what house is this? We have Demenel. And then it was the Raymonts over here. I believe... Actually, let me just double check. I want to say it was the Raymonts. 2-story job. The letter would probably be of interest to both Lord Raymont and someone with the initials 8 AD. House Demenel, maybe. Ark of the Gath. Interesting name. I am not going to read your backstory, though. Demenel Dorman.
Greetings.
Yeah, okay. The burly guard eyes you warily. I don't recognize you. What business do you have with House Demenel? We found a letter. Okay, so this is them. Tell me about House Demenel. It's an old and respected family. Much of Defiance Bay's prosperity is due to Demenel business activities. Now, do you have any further business here? So this is, according to the guy in Hadrat House, this is a notorious crime family. The whole reason why we are in the situation we are in is because we pissed off a crime boss, a crime family. We didn't know who we were fucking with. We fucked with the wrong guy. And we ended up having to get on a ship, sail, across the world. And now our soul has been awakened and God only knows what is going to happen to us. We have no allegiance to this, the Raymond family. I think Ximena's initial thought was like, oh, AD, maybe I can blackmail them. Now she's hearing, oh, this is a crime family? This is a crime family? Okay, in which case we give back the letter and we apologize profusely. We grovel. We grovel to these people. Because if we grass them up, they're probably going to know it was us. If they've got this, heist down planned. Because I'm pretty sure the letter said it was all about, breaking into the Raymond house. So they probably have an inside person who might see us and report back, oh yeah, this weird, moon god-like gave your letter to this person, to someone in charge. Yeah, I think we give the letter back and we apologise profusely. House Demenel? I found a letter that might be of interest to someone here. I see. Right this way. Okay. We will...
Whatever crimes they committed, their interior decoration is impeccable.
Oh, Aloth approves, apparently.
I see where you're going with that. Give me a real challenge.
I can't help myself. I can't help myself. Oh, the wine rack contains a wide selection of vintages from all over Aora, all of them very, very expensive. AD. A young man leans against an expensive-looking gal glass cabinet. He holds a jewel-studded goblet in one hand and an ornate pistol in the other. He grins with wine-stained lips.
Our doormen seem to think it important that you meet with me. Speak.
What is this place? You are standing in the Domenel ancestral manor. You are either very lost or wasting my time. He takes another sip of wine. If there's nothing else, be on your way. Yeah, I think Ximena would want to get in good with the crime family. If she plans on living here, which she does. She's already pissed off one crime family back in the Valian Republics. She doesn't want to have a repeat of that. I found a note that may interest you. As Abakan reads the letter, his curious smile fades and the page crumples in his grip. His twisted lips are as cold and dark as the amethyst lining his cup.
You'd better explain yourself. And quickly.
I was attacked in a house in Copper Lane. I found this letter after I finished my assailants. This is obviously a bad time. I'll show myself out. No. We're locked in now. We're locked in. I was attacked in a house in Copper Lane. I found this letter after I finished my assailants. Wine splatters the mirror-smooth tiles as Abakan hurls the goblet. He smashes the carved handle of his pistol into the antique cabinet behind him. The men standing nearest look from Abakan back to you, their hands ready over their weapons. Criminal indeed. No one should waste a good red like that. Edir whispers to you, maybe you should pay him a compliment to help patch things up.
You've killed my men and cost me. But I'll give you one chance to make up the loss.
You finished the job I gave my men. Certainly. Why didn't you mention you were hiring? Clever. Very well, I don't have a choice, do I? No, I'm no thief. Honest. Finish it yourself, whore. Your mam's a whore. Dorrance gives her a thumbs up in the background, like, yes, she's learning. I've said it before, Ximena isn't a cat burglar by trade. However, con artist, cat burglar, there's probably a kind of overlap in an overlap in skill sets. Certainly. Why didn't you mention you were hiring? His smile is dangerously thin. This is a command, not a commission. Do this and I'll overlook your blunder. Lord Raymond has a gem the size of an Almaur's testicles. Ooh, flippin' heck. It's called the Heart of White March. One of my contacts will leave the second-story window open. I want you to sneak inside and find the gem. Whatever you do, do not alert Raymond's guards. The last thing I want is a blood feud with my neighbour. I trust we are crystal clear on this. Tell me more about the Raymond job. What do you want to know? Tell me about Lord Raymond. Abacan makes a guttural noise of disgust. He's a pompous, upright bastard who's still living in the days of Duke Hadret. He's also one of the richest men in Brackenbury. Not that I hold that against him, but really, what's the point of moving so many pans if you're just going to stash them in a secret room somewhere? What do you know about the Heart of the White March? Only that it's one of the most coveted gems in the Deerwood, and when you see it you'll understand why. It glows from within, a rare feature of jewels from the White March Mountains. Seizing that gem from Raymond will net us a fine profit and diminish the status of our rivals in the Knights and the Dozens. Okay. Any advice on stealing the gem? Don't let his guards see you upstairs. Get in through the window if you can and be prepared to move quietly. Raymond may be an enemy, but he's also a neighbour and I don't want to stir up trouble. That's all I wanted to know. He takes another sip of wine. If there's nothing else, be on your way. Farewell. Okay. I am glad that the quest turned out this way. This is much more Ximena's style rather than going to, Lord Raymond and saying, oh, I found rumours that someone was planning to rob you. Goody. Like, Ximena getting in good with the local crime family, like, hey, I've worked for you in the past. I'm just letting you know that I'm here. Like, I'm not trying to step on your toes. That is so much more Ximena. That is so much more Ximena. Now, I am just about out of time for this episode. So again, let me put all of this stuff in my inventory. And those are the 3 grimoires you have. Excellent. Okay. And again, where were we? Yeah, the Dozens. The Erosian calendar. Annie Erosia, the New Year. While only 150 years old, and of Valian origin as well, the Erosian calendar is currently used throughout most of the Deerwood and the surrounding areas. While the Deerwood was using the Adirian calendar until recently, they gave it up in favour of the Erosian calendar. The transition was easy to get people to make, because the Adirian calendar was hopelessly inaccurate. Erosia calculated that it takes the planet approximately 334 days to orbit the Sun, so he took the 9 months from the Adirian calendar and broke them into 16 months of 20 days each, with each season consisting of 4 months. The length of each month corresponds to how long it takes Balafa, one of our moons, to circle the planet. At the end of each season, 3 days, not part of either season, are set aside for people to celebrate the transitions. Lastly, the final 2 days of the year, New Year and Mid-Year, are used to observe the beginning and midpoint of the year. To prevent any confusion for the transition from the old calendar to the new, Erosio kept the year the same. So although the calendar has only been in existence for 150 years, it is currently 2823 AI, Annie Erosio. Annie Erosio gave the months Valian names, but in the Deerwood and surrounding areas they call them by their translated names. The year is broken down in the following way. New Year, a day to celebrate the arrival of the new year. Of all the holidays, this one is the most celebrated by most people around the Deerwood and the Vailian Republics. Each new year is greeted with fervent zeal to begin things anew and start with a fresh slate. Winter months, 2 at the beginning of the year, 2 at the end. Deep winter, Foniverno, late winter, Tariverno. Spring, dawn, 3 days, in Prima, used to celebrate the transition of the world, rebirth and spring. Aethosian festivals are especially prevalent at this time, or were prior to the Saints' War. Spring months, early spring, Pre-Prima, mid-spring, Maj-Prima, deep spring, Fon Prima, late spring, Tar Prima. Summer rising, 3 days, Inestu, a period of transition from birth to growth. Many ceremonies designed to usher children into adulthood take place during summer rising, some months and mid-year. Early summer, Prestu, midsummer, Majestu. Mid-year, a day of reflection and introspection. The year is half over. People who made promises on New Year use mid-year to assess their progress and renew their oaths. Deep summer, Fonestu. Late summer, Tarestu. Summer falling, 3 days. In autumn, harvest celebrations happen during autumn falling if the crops were particularly bountiful. If the harvest was small, supplication is given to the gods asking for a better harvest the following year. Autumn months. Early autumn, Pre-autumn. Mid-autumn, Maj-autumn. Mid-autumn, Fon-autumn. Late autumn, Tar-autumn. Winter dusk, 3 days. Invierno. I'm going to pronounce it how I pronounced it. Winter dusk is filled with celebrations of life and vigils for the dead. The world is returning to sleep. Plants die, and those still alive raise a toast to another year. Winter months. Early winter, Brejverno. Midwinter, Marsverno. Very interesting. Very interesting. Excellent. Alrighty then. In the next episode, we pull off a heist maybe, but until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. A special thanks to my channel members, such as SM2K, Christopher K. Davis, CGG, and Kevin Bicknell. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.